So I lived in the middle of nowhere. One bus to take you somewhere in the morning, one bus to take you home in the evening. That was it. There were no other buses. It was crazy. You could you couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't do anything. It was very beautiful, but after 17 years of the same countryside, you want to change. And freedom, freedom, freedom. What is freedom? Freedom is you can travel somewhere. You can go where you want to go. And to travel, well, you need money, but money alone is not enough, because it's still difficult to visit people when you live in nowhere. So I needed to pass my driving test. And I I was very nervous. In fact, my dad was teaching me how to drive, and it was the first time that I ever said fuck you to anybody who wasn't a friend. Teaching someone to drive is really stressful. As a basic rule, do not get your parents to teach you to drive. Do not get your parents to teach you to drive. Not a good idea. I knew a bit about how to drive already, but I remember sitting in my car and Dad going, "You should do this," and me going, "Fucking shut up! I know what to do. Don't use that language. Sorry, I'm stressed. Need to pass this test." When I did the test, there was a corner like this. No, there was a junction. I'm telling a lie. There was a junction like this, right? And I went straight over the corner. And this is where people walk. Yeah, this was the pavement where people walk, and I just drove straight over it. I was sure that I had failed my test, because if someone was there, they'd be dead, right? So when the driving instructor finally said, "You have passed your test," I was like, "I can't believe it." I was almost crying. And so that was one of the greatest experiences of my life. Let's see. My first girlfriend. That was a great experience. I can't remember. It was so long ago. I can't remember how old I was. I don't know. I guess I was 15. I might have been 14, but nah, I was probably 15. And it's just nice. Everything's nice. Everything's great. Everything's better. I don't know why. Everything's better. Everything's nicer. Everything's fresher. Everything's sweet. Everything's super cool. And in that kind of situation, because it was a girl that I really liked, and she really liked me, and it was great. To make a long story very short, nothing lasts forever. She got sick. She got ill, and she had to leave school, and she had to go into hospital for like 6 months or something like that. It was some. When you live in the middle of nowhere and you have no transportation, and it's hard to get anywhere, there's not much that you can do. And my parents were not very helpful. I still remember today, I still remember holding hands with her and walking around the school. And I still have a picture of her in the back of my mind. It's going way back, 25 years ago. I can still remember those things, 25 years ago. I can remember sitting in art class. I remember sitting on her next to the bus. No, sitting on her, sitting next to her on the bus. Sitting on, oh God. My brain, my brain. It's Friday, that's why. Um, brain no function. Me sit on girl, no. So, yeah, I still remember. I remember that. I remember we did a sports class together as well. Oh, we did a sports class together. I'll tell you a little secret, right? You and the rest of them, I'll tell you a little secret. I wanted to ask her to go out with me, but I was a bit scared. I was a bit frightened. Because why? I don't know why. I don't know why I was frightened. Sometimes we get frightened of things. It's not logical. It's just something new for us. It's new and we're not sure and we're not confident and we don't know and so we don't do it. And I was not very confident. And I wanted to ask her out. And it's crazy because you don't lose anything, right? If you go to her and you say, "Hi, I just want to ask you, would you like to go out somewhere sometime?" You're not going to lose it. If she says no, you're not going to lose it. It doesn't matter, right? You don't lose anything. You just get information. It's not the information you want, but yeah, whatever, right? Okay, I'll try again next week. Never give up, right? Never give up. Never give up on your dreams. So I and this went on for weeks. Every day I would tell myself, I gotta speak to her today. I gotta ask her out. I gotta. We were in the same year at school, and I was sitting in the same class sometimes. And I was thinking, okay, I have to ask her when. And I made up these stories in my head. Like I'll ask her when I've got time. I'll ask her when she's not with her friends, because I don't want to go up and ask her when all her friends are around. And that's not. It's kind of embarrassing. Or the best way to do it. See, I was so stupid that I didn't think like this. But the best way to do it was to go to your friend and to say, "Can you ask her if she's interested in me?" And your friend would be like, "Oh, sure." He doesn't care, right? He doesn't care. He's got nothing to lose. It's not him that likes anyone or anything. So he's like, "Yeah, sure. Hey, blah 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 blah." blah." So that's always the best way, is to get your friend or her friend to ask. But I didn't want to tell my friends for some reason. I didn't want to tell my friends. Don't know why. Anyway, I was at the 2 weeks of, I'm gonna ask her today. Today is the day. Yeah, today it's gonna happen today. And didn't. Right. And we traveled on the same bus to school. Traveled on the same bus to school, on the way to school in the morning and on the way back home. And it's not like Slovakia where all buses are public bus. This was a school bus, picked you up at your home and took you straight to the school, and then picked you up at the school and took you straight home. And one day we were going home from school, And she sat next to me on the bus. No, I didn't sit next to her. She sat next to me. And she said, "Can I ask you something?" Yes. Yeah, sure. What do you want to ask? She said, "Will you go out with me? Will you be my boyfriend?" And you know what I said? I said, "I'll think about it." What a complete idiot I was. Oh my God. It's like somebody comes up to you and wants to give you all your dreams and everything you want, and you say, not now, maybe later. Thanks. I'm 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 busy with being alone. I'm busy with being by myself with my thoughts. I'm busy with just being stupid. And and I remember going home and like banging my head against the wall. Idiot, 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 idiot.
And she, what?
What did she say? Oh, her reply was, okay, and then she went and sat somewhere else. And I was just, I was having this conversation with myself, this inner dialogue. Like, what, what are you doing? You complete fool. All you had to do was say yes. All you had to do was say one word, yes. And you couldn't say it. So, this went round my head for about 2 days. And then after 2 days, I got on the bus when we were going home after school one day. And I sat next to her and I said, "The question you asked me," I said, if you are still interested, the answer is yes." And she said, "Good." Good. And that was it. The journey into the unknown world of relationships and girlfriends began. I had no idea where I was going. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what I was getting into. And I didn't have any brothers or sisters that I could ask. And talking to my parents was not helpful. It just didn't help. There are some things you can ask your parents for help with. Homework, I'm stuck. Or can I get some money to go to the cinema? Or I need new shoes. Or those are all really easy things. Mom, I'm hungry. But the deeper emotional things are often much more complicated. It's sometimes very difficult. Sometimes it's not, but for me it was very difficult to talk to my parent. I couldn't go to my dad. I couldn't go to my dad and say, Dad, I got this problem. Got this girl, and I just, Dad, can you help me out? I just, no, because my dad was not the intellectual type. Well, I didn't have to be the intellectual type to answer that, but he wasn't the person to go to with your problems. He's just not the kind of person you could go to. His answer, he never gave any answers to anything. It's always, oh, it's possible. I don't know. Possible. It's not helpful, Dad. Dad, should I do this? I don't know. No, that's not helpful. Give me some direction. Give me an idea. Give me a sentence. Give me a plan. Give me something. Yeah. Coach me. You must have been through this yourself, right? I mean, imagine you have a problem playing your tennis game, and you go to your coach, and you're like I need some help, and the coach is like, oh, I don't know, right? No, you don't understand. You are dad. Your job is to guide me, is to point me in the right direction, is to give me advice, it's to tell me what to do, it's to help me be a man. No, no, it's parents are sometimes not quite what we want them to be. I can't go to my mother. Hey, mom. So there's this girl that I like. Oh no, can't, because mother's a girl, and what does she know? But the truth is that she could actually be really helpful because she's a girl. She could explain it from the girl's perspective. But when you're young, you don't think about things like that. So, there was no one to go to. Couldn't ask my friends because my friends had less experience than me. Couldn't ask my friends. I couldn't tell my friends because they would then blah blah blah. They would then talk to everybody, and then everybody would know that I liked someone, but that I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't say anything about it, so I couldn't really tell my friends about it. So she was cool. She was definitely at that time one of the nicest people that I'd ever met in my life. Sometimes not everything is in our control. Sometimes not everything is in our control. And you never forget the first girlfriend, the first love, the first wedding. You never forget. You always carry that with you everywhere that you go. So there. Sometimes life takes us in different directions. What a fantastic... The teenage years, when you're a teenager, 13 to 19, you get lots of shit from the world, right? So much you have to do for school, you have to do for your teachers, your friends are getting on your nerves, your parents are telling you what to do and what not to do, but mostly they're telling you what not to do, and they're not telling you what to do, and you don't know what to do because it's all confusing. And the world's a big place, and you try to find your own little space in the big world, and it's crazy, but it's really the best period of time. It is absolutely the best period of time to be alive because you can experiment, you can make mistakes, you're going through things for the first time, and the first time is a pretty amazing experience. So it might be stressful, it might be confusing, you might not have all the answers to all the questions that you need, but you stand somewhere between the future and the past. Your parents are the past. And the world that you can dream about is the future. And you stand there in the middle, and it's a very powerful place to be. And it's not an easy place to be. All the stupid stuff you have to deal with, like I got into fights in school. For some reason, I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking about school, things I did in school, and I was like, oh my god, the fights! I got into fights at school. What was I fighting about? Crazy stuff. Crazy things. Crazy things happened. In answer to your question so far, the first experience was passing my driving test. The second experience was having a first girlfriend. Somebody gives you everything you've ever wanted, and you just don't know what to do with it. Wow. Panic. There must be a third one. Having a party in my parents' house. That was it. Had a party in my last year at school. I'm not going to tell you the story about the whole party. It's just way too long. But I knew. Here's the point about the party. I knew that if I asked my parents, "Can I have a party?" they would say no. Mom, Dad, I want to invite some friends from school and have a party. No. Okay. Please, no. So I knew that that wouldn't work. I don't know why. Some parents are like really open and, yeah, son, whatever. You need some alcohol? No problem. Whoa. Maybe that's not a good thing. My parents, my parents were very strict about everything. Yeah. You know, be home before it gets dark, even in winter. Like, whoa. Don't ride your bike without telling us where you're going. Oh, for God's sake. Right. Eat all your vegetables. Wash the car. Move the wood. And cut the grass and all the other things. Anyway, I knew that I couldn't ask my parents. So my parents had a friend. And I went to my parents' friend. And I talked to my parents' friend about the fact that I want to have a party and I'm not sure. I know if I ask my parents, they'll say no. But if you ask my parents, they might say yes. Because for some reason it's different. Yeah, so I'm asking you if you can ask my parents for me if I can have a party. Because maybe from you it will sound like it's okay, but from me it's just like, what do I know? I don't know anything. Blah 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 blah. And it worked. This person came back to me and said, I said okay. So sometimes you need to do things directly. You just need to go and do it. And sometimes you need to know what you can't do. And when you know that you can't do something, you need to ask someone else to help you with it. And I should have done that with the girlfriend thing. And yeah, life is a team sport. You need people around about you who can help you. You can't get through it by yourself. It's too complicated. So I had a party. Invited my friends. No, of course there won't be any alcohol. Of course there was lots of alcohol. That was one of the conditions. If you want to come to the party, you have to bring some alcohol. And my parents have a big house, and they were at home. They stayed in one part of the house, and we were in the other part of the house having the party, and the usual people drank too much and started to run around the garden, and when I woke up in the morning, someone was smoking a cigarette, and my parents had this Art Deco plastic chair, and they had put the cigarette out in the chair, plastic chair. Yay! Yay! Thank you, person whoever did that. That's great. And oh my God, my parents are gonna kill me. What am I gonna do? And one of my friends had his school bag, and he took out of it the corrector fluid. he was painting. He was painting the corrector fluid on the chair because the chair was a white chair, and took in the corrector fluid to try to hide the mark. It worked as well. I think it worked as well. And there was a hole in the wall. I don't know how that happened. It's like somebody put their fist through the wall in the middle of the night. Anyway, those were the three great experiences. My first party, um, and my first girlfriend, and passing my driving test, um, which were all wonderful things in a very quiet childhood.